Welcome to another whatacca.com video. This time we're looking ahead to game week 5 of the Premier League. 10 more games to look at, and let me tell you this, the coupon looks very trappy this weekend. Another word for that is that it's just difficult, and when you look at our accumulator tips this weekend, we're probably going to delve lower into the lower reaches of the Football League, League 1, League 2, maybe some Championship picks, because the Premier League is really not fantastic from a betting point of view. However, I'm here to give you some insight into how I think each game will go. So we'll go through the 10 matches and see what the overall verdict is from the team at whatacca.com. We've got a Friday night match coming up this weekend, and that involves Newcastle against Leeds United. The bet we like here is both teams to score, yes. Newcastle have conceded 12 goals already, so I'd be massively surprised if they can keep a clean sheet against the Leeds team, who did draw a blank against Liverpool last weekend, but Patrick Bamford's looked highly dangerous up front and should get among the goals here. Rafinha also is a very vibrant attacking player. We might even see Dan James make an appearance. I think Newcastle will get a goal at least, despite Callum Wilson missing. But we think both teams to score yes is the option. You could go for Leeds and both teams to score yes at a bigger price as well, but it just depends how much you trust Leeds at the moment. Game number 2 is the Saturday lunchtime kickoff between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Brentford. Our pick for this game is under 2.5 goals. That's happened in all 4 of Wolves' matches so far. They lost their first 3 matches 1-0, and then they won their game at Watford last weekend by 2-0. Brentford's 4 games to date have all included under 2.5 goals as well, so this just seems like an absolute no-brainer. Thomas Frank's side, slightly defensive in their approach, which you can understand from a promoted team. They've got some points on the board already. Another point at Molineux would be a point gain, so under 2.5 goals for that one. Game number 3 is the first 3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. That involves Burnley and Arsenal. We're going to go for under 2.5 goals in that game. We don't trust Arsenal, despite the fact that they won their first game last weekend, especially as it was only a 1-0 home win against Norwich City. A fixture away to Burnley for a team like Arsenal has posed many problems in the past, and we're not expecting that to change. Sean Dyche's side will be well drilled, they'll be gritty, they'll be determined. Arsenal might have to meet fire with fire, and therefore we can see a low-scoring game, under 2.5 goals. Liverpool take on Crystal Palace, and they're about 1-5 on the coupon, which is not for the faint-hearted if you want to be back in the Reds, fresh from a pulsating 3-2 win over Milan in the Champions League. Palace won 3-0 against Tottenham last weekend, can offer some kind of threat going forward, as we've seen, especially odds on Edouard and Conor Gallagher have been standouts since the start of the season, but we are going to go for Liverpool and both teams to score no. Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk should be reunited at the back, and Liverpool's defence is pretty mustard, so we're going to go for Liverpool, both teams to score no as an option. Palace did draw a blank in their opening 2 matches of the season. The same bet applies for Manchester City against Southampton. I've seen some people tipping up Man City and both teams to score in this game. Saints have scored a few goals against the same opponents in the past, but we just think the Man City defence in the Premier League is pretty robust. Whether or not Ruben Dias is partnered with Aymeric Laporte or John Stones, we're not necessarily sure Southampton will make a breakthrough. They don't have Danny Ings up front anymore. We don't think they'll see a lot of the ball in this game. So we just think a comfortable City routine victory on this occasion. Norwich City are playing against Watford. Some are describing it as a relegation 6-pointer already. The Canaries are favourites to win this game, but they have lost all 4 of their matches so far. It's hard to judge them on the basis that they have played 4 relatively strong opponents up to now. Watford began the season with a home win against Aston Villa, and they've lost their 3 ensuing fixtures, but they do pose a goal threat, especially as Ismail Assar playing out wide right. And therefore, we're going to just go for both teams to score yes on this occasion. Wouldn't trust Norwich at the prices. Wouldn't be backer of Watford either, and wouldn't be confident on the draw. So therefore, I just think both teams to find the net seems to be a straightforward bet, considering both teams are conceding plenty of goals. Quite an interesting tea time fixture between 2 fairly unpredictable teams. Mind you, Everton have looked fairly routine in terms of accumulating points so far, with 10 on the board already. Aston Villa have blown hot and cold. They were better than the 3-0 defeat at Chelsea, the scoreline suggests there, really. The Watkins and Ings, surprisingly, in my opinion, were partnered in that game. It was quite an adventurous approach, and I think a similar approach might yield a goal or two, but Everton have also been full of goals. They scored 3 more against Burnley on Monday. They don't have any European sort of distractions this season, so we just think BTTS yes again in this game. Keep things simple. Both teams find the net, and that bet would be a winner. Sunday's matches, the first of this is Brighton against Leicester City, and we are going for a Brighton win. We're just not really sold on Leicester at the moment. I know that they were close to getting into the Champions League in the past 2 seasons and have retained the nucleus of the squad that sort of achieved that particular feat of 5th place in back-to-back seasons. We just think that they're a bit off colour at the moment, and there's certain players within the team that are not performing, or the team isn't really gelling as a whole. We know Vardy scored a couple of goals earlier in the season, but we just think Brighton are probably better equipped to sort of edge it. You could go for Brighton 0 on the sort of Asian handicap, or Brighton draw no bet if you want a bit of insurance, but we think at the prices it might be worth taking a punt on Brighton, who they've won 3 of their 4 matches up to date, and I think they've got a decent chance of winning this game. I think the odds are quite attractive about a Seagulls win. West Ham are playing Manchester United. Now, at the time of recording, i.e. Thursday afternoon, we know that Manchester United have been to Switzerland and lost to young boys, but we don't know what sort of team David Moyes has put out away to Dinamo Zagreb this evening. We also don't know sort of the result of that game or how that might impact the match, but we know that David Moyes may rotate his squad, or there might be certain players feeling fatigued from that particular match. We do know that Mikel Antonio is missing, but we still think West Ham can probably claim a draw in this game. Manchester United have not been good on the road this season so far. Yes, they were poor in Switzerland, but they weren't particularly good at Molineux in the previous away Premier League match, and they drew 1-1 away to Southampton in their first match. So providing West Ham have got the right energy levels and don't have too much of an issue with regard to availability, then I think West Ham are probably going to be good for a point in front of a raucous London stadium. And I think we think that's better than back in Manchester United at odds on. The final match on Sunday is the game between Tottenham and Chelsea. We're going to go for under 2.5 goals in this game. I am leaning towards Chelsea as the most likely winning. Well, not leaning. I think Chelsea are the most likely winners, and I think that you could possibly perm a 1-0 or a 2-0 win for Chelsea here and potentially profit as far as that's concerned. Spurs have defensive issues. We know Tanganga's out through suspension after getting sent off in the last game. We also know that Chelsea's defence is very tight, and they've only conceded 1 goal in their 4 Premier League games thus far. They also shut out Zenit St. Petersburg on Tuesday night. So we'll go for under 2.5 goals, but you could combine that with Chelsea to win an under 2.5 goals, or Chelsea to win an under 3.5 goals. Alternatively, you could go Chelsea 1-0 or 2-0 if you prefer. Those are the Premier League predictions for game week 5. We hope that you do well with your weekend punting. The weekend tips will be going live on Friday, and you'll be able to see the win acca, and I think there'll probably be both teams to score acca for Saturday, and there'll be a big game acca on Sunday. So head over to the site, make sure you signed up for the latest emails, follow us on Twitter, and good luck with all of your punting. Cheers.